What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. 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 What's the buzz?
Hey, I'm Sydney Erik Wright. I was an English major at Harvard. I say that I have a degree in storytelling because I studied dramatic structure and analysis, and I did creative writing classes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about musicals and musical theater genre and what it means to be an actor in a musical. So just want to start off, what's your favorite musical?
I love the shows that have complete synthesis of dance and music and acting. So I really respond to A Chorus Line, but West Side Story is tops for me. I think that's kind of the iconic synthesis of all of these different elements together.
West Side Story.
West Side Story.
Would you call that the perfect musical?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the direction, the choreography, the script, the orchestrations, the music, it's kind of iconic and beautiful. So,
well, and you're exactly right, and you think about the production team for that musical, too.
I mean, Jerome Robbins, Stephen Sondheim, Leonard Bernstein.
Right. But that's interesting to think about, to get off topic for a little bit, when you think about some of the issues addressed in Chorus Line and West Side Story and Man of La Mancha, and all those really happening within the same, 8 to 10 year span. Issues of sexuality were not shied away from in those musicals. So maybe talk briefly about the platform of musical theater and how we're able to address maybe some heavier issues or more complex issues like sexuality or rape.
Because music and dance and all these other elements can let you go to such a heightened place with storytelling, I think that it lets you look at really hard-hitting issues like drugs or sex or abuse, but do it from a symbolic place, and it's not as literal, and you can do it artistically, which lets you get away with a lot more, and still address it with some emotional, heavy-hitting impact. But because it isn't literal, you can kind of get away with it in some sense. Because musical theater is essentially elevated at its core. When you go, not necessarily in scene work, but when you go to the songs, the dances, you're allowed to just transcend this reality. It's comfortable for the audience.
Yeah,
it's not comfortable to see like a rape depicted on stage. Like it's definitely not comfortable. But there's something reassuring that it's not an actual rape. There is music. It is choreographed. So there's this subtle sense that they're being taken care of.
Yeah,
I guess.
Interesting. A lot of people throw this term around, a golden age of Broadway.
Okay.
We think of this maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, stretching into the 70s. And obviously the musical theater was a big part of that.
Right.
Do you think those labels are helpful?
I think they are. I think that the golden age is the period when the Broadway musical informed the popular songbook. Of it was such a cultural phenomenon that the songs that people were singing on stage were entering the top 40, and everyone knew them, and stage stars were becoming huge, massive celebrities. And you look at now, and stage songs don't cross over into the popular mainstream, and having a lead in a Broadway show doesn't necessarily translate to actual celebrity in Middle America.
Yeah, it's interesting because Anne Hathaway just won an Oscar, Golden Globe, but we don't hear I Dreamed a Dream on the radio.
Right. Or Idina Menzel is a guest star on Glee, but only theater people really know who that is, and only theater people really watch.
What about labels like straight plays or straight theater or non-musical theater? This sort of emerging separation or distinction. Some of that I think has been backed up by training programs, right? The emergence of the BFA in musical theater, which didn't exist 20 years ago, maybe even. Are those things helpful? Do you find that they are disadvantageous as an actor?
I think they're helpful to an audience. I think that if you're buying a ticket, you kind of want to know what sort of experience you're going to be in for. And so hearing a word like devised theater or going to an environmental production. Like those are helpful buzzwords of like, okay, I know it's not going to be a sit in my seat and watch the show. I'm going to be maybe up on my feet and roaming around.
Stages aren't truly mass media platforms, right?
We've entered an age where anyone can become famous. Where it's true. Like you don't have to have talent or ability. Auto-tune has revolutionized the music industry, and talent is no longer a prerequisite for becoming a performer.
Reality TV.
That's just the way it is. But and here's the thing about theater: it's a one take. It's a live experience from beginning to end, carrying on a journey. There's no changing the camera angle. There's no magic to edit around mistakes.
The way these mass media platforms are approaching musical theater or musicalized shows won't actually steer new audiences to the genre.
It exposes them to the richness of the field. I mean, the fact that they do numbers from iconic Hairspray and Dreamgirls and whatever, but then they also do numbers from Hello Dolly or maybe Spring Awakening or things that are a little, Hello Dolly's not off the beaten path, but might be a little golden agey for the contemporary audience.
Right, most kids wouldn't be able to tell you who wrote the music to that musical, right?
Yeah. And so the fact that it's exposing them to the breadth of the art form, and, I might not like Hairspray, but, this classic Golden Age musical, what's that Sound of Music? I've never heard of that. What is that? And lets them discover just what's out there.
Well, thanks so much, Sydney. I really appreciate it.
Good. I enjoyed sharing my thoughts.